Hi class, I hope this video helps you. It is for week 2, page 26, module 2. So right here, the first thing you need to do is you need to jump into Moodle, and it tells you in step 1 to open your data file 2-1. Make sure you save it correctly as Tor expense. Files, save as. Make sure you save it somewhere you will remember to upload it. So the first thing it wants you to do is it wants you to use the quick analysis tool, which unfortunately I don't have on my Mac, but ultimately it wants you to do the sum, the total of all of these columns. Okay. And then once your cursor turns to a white plus sign, bring it right up to that bottom corner, and when it turns black, you can drag over. So you can drag that formula across instead of having to do it individually each time. The next thing it wants you to do is give yourself a 20% raise. You do equal sign, total, asterisk is multiplication, and then type 0.2 for your raise. So your next answer, which you can reference, goes up to 7124. Let me just double check and make sure I got it. Yep, B12. All right, so I did my formula, and I'm going to go ahead and do it again. So for quarter 2, it is equals this plus, then it wants to do B12 again, but with the raise of 0.20, and it gives me the 4223712, which is correct, and you can check your answers against Excel page 27, right there in the red, the formula in cell C14 copied to D&E. So then I can just simply come down here again with my black plus sign and fill in the rest and double check my answers. My answers have changed a little bit from what they have, so let me double check and make sure everything is correct. D12, D12. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that matches 24.372. Perfect. So again, I validated all that information right there with that, with what is referenced in figure 2-2. The next is insert a function button. This wants us to do the average, A-V-E-R-A-G-E. And it wants the average of everything that occurred in Q1. Be sure not to grab the total. Do not go past number row 11. Do not grab number 12 because that will throw your average count off. So then I can go ahead and do the same here and drag it over to get the average of each one of those quarters. The next thing I want you to do is to fill all the way over to E, which we did. So that sums up Excel page 28. Excel page 30 wants you to fill in the max. Remember we did this in class. We said equals MAX. And I want the max of 4 through 11. Again, be sure you don't grab 12 because obviously 12 would be your max because that's the total. It's adding everything together. And then one last thing we're going to focus on is the min, M-I-N. And now we want the smallest number of all of these. And again, make sure you end at 11, and then you can check your data against everything, 729, 1568. These figures on the following page are really, really helpful for you to check and make sure that everything is adding up correctly. So the next is page 32. It's copy and move cell entries. So it says select range B3 through E3. So B3 through E3, okay. And it says click the copy button in the clipboard. All right, so copy. Click the launcher in the clipboard group. All right, click B19 and then hit the paste button. So then I just get a duplicate of that information at the top. Then press delete. As soon as we do it, we get rid of it. Click cell B20, click the first item in the Office clipboard, and then click close button on the taskbar pane. So now it wants us to go down one more and hit paste. I have to recopy because mine went away. Copy, B20, insert copy cells. You can shift cells down. It's okay. It doesn't make a difference. Okay, click cell A14, A14, and press Control to point any edge of the cell until the pointer changes to a plus sign. Click and drag A14 to A21, then release the mouse. So A14 to A21. So we're going all the way down, okay? And click B. Okay, and now it wants us at the end to do a 30% rise, and it tells us click cell B21, type equals, click cell B12, type times 1.3 for our raise, and then hit enter. Perfect. So now we know what a 20% rise would look like, and now here's what a 30%. And then it goes into, on page 34 and 35, we talked a lot about this, the relative and absolute cell references with the dollar signs. Okay, so then it says click B21 right here. Then hit the copy button. So we'll go ahead and say copy on the group. Click cell C21, so right next to it, and then click the paste button. Okay, and then it says drag the fill handle from C21 to E21. So we'll just drag right across. Okay, click cell F4, click the auto sum button. Remember that's the E right up here at the top, auto sum, in the editing group, and then hit enter. Great. Click the copy in the clipboard group, select F5 right here. All right, so we want to copy this, paste. So then we have our same formula. Okay, hit the fill button. Okay, so then it wants to drag this formula all the way down. And we can double check and make sure B to 11. All right, so that all looks good. I'm going to go ahead and save my work because we haven't saved in a while. And then we're going to go to page 38. Copy formulas with absolute cell references. Okay, so in G1, click cell G1, type change, then type 1.1 and hit enter. Make sure you have the 1.1 in its own, actually it wants it underneath it, in its own cell. Don't put change in 1.1 and 1 because that does not work. You need to have the number in its own. Click H3, all right, H3, and type what if. Okay, press enter. In H4, so right underneath it, and if you're ever lost, remember right here you can check your cell reference. Hit equals, click F4, hit multiplication, click G2, my change, and then hit enter. Remember, we're always going to want to come back to this 1.1, so we are going to have to make that our absolute reference, but we'll get there. Drag the fill handle from H4 to H11. It's not going to work, guys. Remember we did this in class? Now we have all these zeros. Click H4 and then press F2 to change to edit mode, then press F4. Okay. So I don't have the function keys on my Mac. So what you can do is type in the dollar symbols. So that way it'll never change from your G2, and then drag down. Click cell and type 1.2, and then all of your numbers will change. I'm just doing a quick spot check on figure 218 to make sure I am looking good, and I am. And that is all you need to do for step 1 of week 1's work. The other thing you need to do, and we went over this in class, is on page 50. you need to do the visual workshop, and you actually create a new Excel sheet from scratch. So I'm not going to type all this information in for you, but I will show you a few tips and tricks. If you type January and February and you highlight both of them and then drag it down, Excel will put in all the months for you, which is pretty fun. So you don't have to type them all out. Total, you guys are great with the sum finding. This is where that absolute reference is going to come in. You need to type the 0.5, the increase, and the total. So I am not going to type all these out because it would take me a bit and the video can't last that long. So I'm just putting in random numbers, but you guys will manually type in the numbers seen in figure 228 on page 50. I just want to show you. The first thing you need to do is that auto sum right here equals auto sum. And that will allow you, I always put that in, to add together all your information. Hit enter. Then it wants you to increase it by 0.5. So if you take the total and you times it by the 0.5, remember that's our absolute cell reference. We don't ever want that to change, so we want to put those dollar signs in. So when we drag and drop for quarter or district 2 and 3, it will never change. So that 0.5, trust me, if you had the right numbers in here, would add up to the 21,000. And then for the total, you simply add together the original total plus the increase, and that will give you the total, which is the B20, the 32,000. So you'll have your original total, the 21,000, plus the increase of the 10,000 gives you that 32,000 together. So for your visual workshop, this is pretty easy. I just want to make sure that I gave you all the big pieces to get you started. I hope this is helpful, and I will work on mod 3 now. Have a good rest of the day, guys.